Yes, sir, Mr. Governor. Well, I understand. 5 days. April 19th. Well, yes, sir, we'll make sure we're ready. Yes, Mr. Governor. Oh yeah, she's doing great. Thanks for asking. All right, Henry. I'll talk to you later. Tell Peggy I said hi. All right, thanks. Looks like we're going back to school for 5 days. I should probably make a video. All right, Alice Drive. It looks like we've been given the go-ahead to open up school 5 days a week for in-person learning. It's been so long, so let me remind you what those 5 days are. There's Monday, there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, there's Thursday, and there's Friday. I know you forgot about that Wednesday, but it's back. So, the start date for this is April the 19th, 2021. So, just about a month away. So you'll get that nice spring break in there. So April 19th, we are going back to 5 days in-person learning. Now, parents, you will still have the option to keep your child virtual, but our options are now one of two things, either 100% virtual or 5 days a week. I'll say that again. Your child needs to be either 100% virtual or 5 days a week in person. So there is no more hybrid option. 100% virtual or 5 days a week in person. So we're excited about this. We really want to finish our school year strong, whether you're virtual or 5 days a week in person. We really want to use this time. I know it's toward the end of the year. In a normal year time, this is kind of where you start sliding off students, but this is really where we need to kick it in and, like I said, finish the year strong. And the first thing I'm going to need you to do, parents, is go to a survey that we're going to have located on our website and in the description of this video if you're watching it on YouTube and on our Facebook page. So this survey is to help us gauge who we expect to come back for those 5 days a week in person and who's going to stay 100% virtual. So I know you've done surveys and after survey, but it's really important that this will help us gauge our numbers so we know exactly how to plan. And this video is going to kind of give you some previews of what we expect the rest of the school year to be like. So let me show you that survey first. In this survey, it's asking for parent's name, parent's email, parent's phone number, student's last name and first name, the student's grade, and then here's the big question. Either attend in person 5 days a week or remain 100% virtual for the remainder of the school year. And then if you are attending in person, whether that's a bus rider, a car rider, a walker, daycare, or just hit not attending in person. Or you can just skip this question because it's not a required question. And then you'll hit submit. And that will give us some data that will really help us with our planning. So if you're thinking, I don't know yet, well, watch the rest of this video and hopefully that will help answer some of the questions you may have. Let's talk about what mitigation strategies we're going to put in place to keep our people safe. Because the threat of COVID has went down some, but the threat is still very real. We're excited to be able to come back in person, but we want to make sure that everyone, our faculty and our students, are able to stay safe. So the first and biggest thing is that masks are still going to need to be worn at school. So I'm able to take my mask off right now because I am in a closed room with a locked door and I'm the only one in here. But while you are at school, whether that's just on our campus from the parking lot, meaning for car riders, and in the building, you need to make sure that you have a mask on. Next is some social distancing. So some of the guidance has changed on this, but we will make sure that we have at all times possible 6 foot of distancing. But in our classrooms where we have our dividers up, we will have those spaced out at 3 feet or more. But whenever possible, we're going to try to get our 6 foot distancing in. We will keep the one-way hallways so that students are not too crowded in the hallways, and we want our students to keep that distance from each other in the hallway as well. And we will keep that staggered release where there's a time gap of about 5 minutes between 6th grade and then 7th grade, and then 8th grade, so we don't have all 3 groups in the hallway at the same time. We'll keep our enhanced cleaning measures where our building services staff has a cleaning schedule where they go and clean in the classrooms and through the restrooms and just throughout the building. And even though we've lost that deep cleaning on Wednesdays, we have adjusted our building services schedule so that they're here later after school to make sure that those classrooms and the rest of the building is clean and sanitized so that we're ready for the next day. We'll also keep our lunch inside of the classrooms where we have those dividers rather than going into the cafeteria. So that way, while the students are eating, they'll still have those dividers between them because they obviously won't be able to keep their masks on while they're eating their lunch. And finally, we have our hand sanitizing stations in every classroom so the students can sanitize their hands. And we do encourage our students that you will need to, if you use the restroom, to wash your hands thoroughly. And just that good hand washing and wearing that mask, keeping that distance, those same measures that we've used to knock down this COVID for quite a while, then if we continue to do that, we hope that we can get through this final part of this school year. Adding in Wednesday made us have to question what we want to do with our A-Day, B-Day schedule. And we went through some different plans, but we decided we want to keep things as simple and as consistent as possible as we finish off the school year. Could you imagine some consistency in all the craziness we've experienced in the last year? So we're going to leave our A-Day, B-Day schedule the same, except for on Wednesday, we're going to alternate where week 1 will be A-Day, the next week will be B-Day. There, again, that has nothing to do with hybrid groupings because remember, there are no more hybrid groupings. This is still just talking about your students' schedule that they follow because they have separate classes on A-Day and B-Day. So Wednesday, we're going to alternate, like I said. So if week 1 is A-Day, the next week will be B-Day. And I know that can be very confusing, but we're going to make sure we post that everywhere. We'll make sure that's on Facebook. We'll make sure we get a robocall out to parents the night before. And in all your Google Classrooms students, they'll remind you what day it is, whether it's A or B, before Wednesday. So that should hopefully not be too big of an issue. Again, this is just to keep us consistent for the end of the year. We actually want to play with our Wednesday a little bit to kind of do some like enrichments and support type activities throughout the day on Wednesday, but that's still some stuff that we're planning as we get closer to the start on April 19th. We'd really love to give some social emotional learning and especially just some social time for students who have been really lacking in that over the past year, unfortunately. So our schedule also, we plan to keep consistent and keep the same. So the building will open at 7:30 and we will follow the same car drop-off procedures that we have currently. So that gate will open right around 7:30 and that's when students can begin getting dropped off for the building. As of now, they're still going to go straight to their first block class unless they need to get breakfast, in which case they'll swing through the cafeteria, grab that breakfast, and go on to first block. And if they're here before 8 o'clock, because that's when our first block starts, then you just get to eat that breakfast right in that first block class. And within third block, we're going to try to keep our lunches the same. So our first lunch, students will eat right at 10:50 until 11:20. And that first lunch group, if you have first lunch students, you will grab your lunch if you need to get a school lunch on your way to third block. So you just walk through the cafeteria, get your lunch, and go on to third block. If you have second lunch, then you'll go straight to third block, and then you get lunch at the end of class, and that will be delivered to classes for students who need school lunch. So that is the same as we've been doing for hybrid. So if in person or virtual, this is your lunch time, and you should already know what time yours is because whether you're virtual already, that is your lunchtime you've been doing in your third block classes. So that does not change. Fourth block runs from 12:45 until 2, and then we'll go into support/enrichment time. So to start, when we go into our 5 days, we will stay in our fourth block classes for support/enrichment at first, so we can get a good gauge of whether we want to assign students to go to a different place to get specific support or enrichment, or whether they'd be better served staying in that fourth block class. And then our dismissal remains 3 o'clock.
So I will say that we do still plan to start opening our gates a little after 2:15. And if a parent knows that their student is caught up with all their work, is doing fine, does not need any additional help at school, then you are free to come after that 2:15 time and pick your child up. We'll put them on the list and start sending them out. But I will remind you that our dismissal time is 3 o'clock. So especially if your student has been struggling with the virtual learning or just not being able to be in school 5 days, give them that time and wait till 3 o'clock to come get that student. So that way they can be in the building with a teacher that is able to help them get caught up with work or just to get make sure they understand any work from that day.
I hope this video helped you understand our plans for returning to 5 days in-person instruction on April 19th. And students, I can't wait to see hopefully some more of you or just the same of you more frequently here at school. So I can, make you cringe with all of my really lame jokes or trying to remember names of kids I've only seen a few times and unfortunately sometimes getting it wrong. I'm gonna get all of your names because that's really important to me. And that reminds me that whether you're staying virtual or coming in person, students, remember that you are important, you are valuable, and we do care about you. So please, if you need anything, reach out to your teachers, reach out to a guidance counselor, or reach out to an administrator. We would love to help you. And parents, if you have questions, concerns, or just need to talk this out with someone, please call the school. One of the administrators would love to have the opportunity to talk with you. And hopefully the video helped you make your decision, but if you're not quite there yet, you can talk about it, pray about it, whatever you need to do. But please, once you can make that decision, fill out that survey. And if you're staying virtual, fill out that virtual form for us. Otherwise, we do expect to see your child in school and look forward to it April 19th for 5 days a week. So hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, no matter what time of the day you're watching this. And as always, go Hawks.